So I want to give a picture. We say, our food is weaponized. Folks think I'm being dramatic, right? Think that I'm a shock jock. That sounds real dramatic. That gotta be rhetoric.
Right.
I would like to detail the process, an example for actual weaponizing of food. And when I say our food, I mean specifically food made available to black people, which is why the title of the report is Waging War by Zip Code. We haven't spoke about segregation yet. Segregation is not a social phenomenon. It's a scientific phenomenon. White folks do not just socially isolate themselves from us. They scientifically isolate us from them. That's segregation. And by this scientific isolation, they are able to quarantine themselves from the scientific death that is being pumped into these segregated neighborhoods through food, water, and air. The air, let me say this. South Side Chicago, North Side Chicago, they are worlds apart. They look so different. But do you want to know the extent of the difference between South Side Chicago, which is black, and North Side Chicago, which is white? The telltale difference is 30 years.
I know. When I read that, I said I'm living on the wrong side of town.
The difference between black South Side Chicago and white North Side Chicago is 30 years. What do I mean by that? The life expectancy gap between a black person on South Chicago versus a white person in North Chicago, the life expectancy gap is 30 years old. White Northern Chicagoan is expected to live 30 years longer than a black Southside Chicago. And the deaths aren't through Southside violence.
I was going to ask you, that was one of my questions. Is that based off of homicides?
No. Of course, it's an aggregate, but what we documented is the air in Southside Chicago is polluted with particulate matter to the extent that it's not in Northside. Northside whites breathe cleaner air than Southside blacks. Northside whites, their air doesn't have the levels of particulate matter, doesn't have the levels of PCBs that we here in Southside Chicago inhale and breathe. That's why I said they've weaponized the very air that we breathe. We've documented why that is so. We've documented how they've quarantined themselves from the scientific death, and that's why they are able to target with this food, target black neighborhoods. So what are you talking about? And I'll close on this illustration and back to soy. You say that weaponization. I need to visualize that. How that look? What you mean, weaponize? So, for those who may have a report in front of them, I would direct you to page 18, 19. Follow. The food that is shipped to black zip codes, food distribution centers, they distribute food by zip code. Mm-hmm. This is what these devils do to food. They can take a fruit, any fruit. They can take an organic fruit, which is why organic sections in black neighborhoods are highly suspect to me. They can take an organic apple and they can wash it with this chemical, and this is what they do all the time. They wash it with a chemical called the sodium salt of the chemical EDTA. What this chemical does is a chelator. It's a mineral extractant. So when you soak or wash this food item, say this apple, in the sodium salt of EDTA, the chemical extracts minerals, say zinc. The EDTA will extract all the zinc out of that apple. Then they will wash that apple, now purified via the sodium salt of EDTA. They will wash it with deionized water. The apple looks just like any apple. They send it, they package it, it's purified, they package it, they send it to where they want it to go, to the zip codes they want it to go. It looks organic, but the zinc has been scientifically depleted from it. I'm gonna come back to that. The other thing they do with food, two sides of the same coin. That was manipulation through extraction. They also have a method of manipulation through addition called bioenhancement. So they do this. The USDA enhances the food made available with these additives called functional ingredients. And one of the main functional ingredients, it's a chemical that they just add to the food because it will produce a physiological reaction, however they define that. Soy protein isolate is one of the key functional ingredients that WIC enhances its food offerings with. Baby formula, baby cereal. Items on the WIC offering list are bioenhanced with soy protein isolate. And what does this do? So I mentioned zinc, and use zinc as an example. So here's an apple. You have two apples in the store. They both are in the organic section. One has been depleted of zinc through the process of purifying it with the sodium salt of EDTA. So this one has been stripped of its zinc. Look the same, taste the same. You have no clue that you're eating a zinc depleted apple, organic apple. So other apple look just like it. You got it from the same grocery store probably. And its zinc hasn't been depleted, however, it's been bioenhanced with soy protein isolate. Tastes the same because soy protein isolate is a highly processed food process to remove the beany taste of it. So they got it to a science where it's invisible in your food product. That's why 60% of food in the grocery store has soy protein isolate. We eat food from the grocery store. We've been eating this stuff, but we didn't know it. We didn't taste the soy because they processed it so that you can't taste it. It's invisible. So you got these two apples. One zinc depleted scientifically, one bioenhanced, got zinc but bioenhanced. This is what happens to the body. I'm gonna come back to soy. Zinc deficiency produces cancer, infertility, and transgenderism. Zinc deficiency, take cancer, prostate cancer cells. Because zinc, which is easy to get in natural food sources. There wasn't any zinc deficiency in American populations. Most of our food, even if we are poor, most of our food has zinc in it. So there wasn't a such thing as zinc deficiency in America, but now there is. And they piloted the process of inducing zinc deficiency. They piloted that with black children in Atlanta. So this is what zinc deficiency does now. So prostate cancer cell, because zinc is a tumor suppressant. Zinc is a good thing. Zinc is a tumor suppressant. But if you are deficient in zinc, then you don't have the suppressant. And so prostate cancer cells, they looked at them. Prostate cancer cells are zinc deficient. So black men in America have the world's highest incidence of prostate cancer. And there are many routes that got us here. One of the routes is by the artificial induction of zinc deficiency among black people. So we eat our food, our plate. We eating and we enjoying it. We got it from that Jules on Stony Island. While we were getting our free flu shot, we bought some, we bought, it was, because Jules has a what? Cheap chicken Wednesday or cheap chicken Monday? Ooh, stay away from that cheap chicken, bro. So we went and got us some cheap chicken on Wednesday. While we got that free flu shot. Our chicken, our mac and cheese, and we want to be healthy. We top it off with an apple. We started with an apple. That whole meal, unbeknownst to us, has been scientifically depleted of zinc. We don't know no better because it was purified and then packaged and sent to us. And it tastes the same, but it produces a zinc deficiency. Because the food is deficient of zinc, our bodies are deficient of zinc. And so the other thing that zinc does, not only does zinc suppress tumors, so if you are deficient of zinc, you don't have that protection. Zinc also inhibits this process called aromatization. Very important word. AROMATIZATION. Aromatization. I spelled that for a reason. What is aromatization? I said our food is making us gay. Man, prove that, Brother Weston. Aromatization is the process by which a man's testosterone is converted into estrogen. All men have a natural amount, minimal, but natural amount of estrogen, just like all women have a natural amount of testosterone. But a female profile is high estrogen, low testosterone. A male biochemical or hormonal profile is high testosterone, low estrogen. Where does the natural estrogen in a man come from? It comes from testosterone. Testosterone, about 2% of our testosterone converts to estrogen. What converts our testosterone to estrogen is an enzyme called aromatase. This enzyme naturally converts its natural amount of testosterone into estrogen. Zinc makes sure aromatase doesn't run wild. It keeps it from overacting, over-converting. So our testosterone to estrogen ratio remains masculine. You remove the zinc, You remove the brakes that's on aromatase. The aromatase becomes hyperactive, converting all of this testosterone into estrogen. The lower the testosterone, the higher the estrogen, the more cancerous that male is, and the feminization process. He develops man breasts. Now, if we're talking about a fetus or a prenatal baby or a developing child, not only that testosterone that is now being lost to estrogen is the testosterone necessary to masculinize the neurology of that male. In the absence of the masculinizing of the neurology, it defaults to a feminine neurological phenotype. And so that child grows up with a female neurology, female mindset. He thinks he's in a male body, but he has a female mind. He does. It's not a phantom. He's not making that up. He does. His neurology failed to masculinize because the testosterone necessary to masculinize it was inhibited. And how was it inhibited? Because it was converted. There was a hyperaromatization going on in this little body or in the womb. How did that hyperaromatization occur? Because somehow she was made, or he was made zinc deficient. Now, the soy. The other method, soy. So this apple, it has its zinc. It wasn't depleted of its zinc. It has all of its natural zinc in it. But it also has been bio-enhanced with soy, as 60% of grocery store food is soy. 60% of grocery store food has been bio-enhanced with soy. What does that do? Soy on its own terms is a feminizer. Soy has isoflavones that turn into estrogen mimickers in the body. But what does it do to zinc? Let's stay here. Soy has a substance in it called phytate. Once you consume it, the phytate turns into phytic acid in your body. What does this phytic acid from the soy we just consumed, what does it do? It's called an anti-nutrient, because phytic acid it promotes mineral deficiency. So we eat the soy, we eat this apple, it got zinc in it, but also got soy isolate in it. We eat the apple. We consume the zinc, but the soy, the phytate in the soy turns into phytic acid in our body. And what does the phytic acid do? It renders the zinc bio-unavailable. It neutralizes the zinc in our body. The phytic acid makes it unavailable for us. So even though we consumed food with zinc in it, our body shows a zinc deficiency because that's soy. 200 items on the McDonald's ingredient list, soy, enhanced. 60% of grocery store food, soy, enhanced. It makes zinc and other minerals bio-unavailable to us. And that's why we have zinc deficiencies. We have all of these mineral deficiencies because the food we eat has been scientifically weaponized through these process of addition, bioenhancement through soy protein isolate, or through process of subtraction, purifying it with the sodium salt of EDTA and then packaging it and sending it to us. And these two apples. They look so good. They taste so good. And both of them have been manipulated in a way that causes zinc deficiency, which then causes cancer and transgenderism. All from the food that we eat.
Unfortunately, Dr. Wesley, we are out of time. However, I'm curious there's a lot of things that you said that I have a lot of questions on. And so I want to be mindful that we don't have much time.
Are we going to come back?
Okay, good.
We're going to stay here.
Yeah, because we really didn't get through your full report. But one of the things.
Get through solutions. Let me say this, and I'll let you finish.
Yeah.
Of all of the crises that Black America is experiencing, none is comparable to the food crisis. So we're going to stay here. We're going to make the problem undeniable in the mind of Black people. And we are going to offer solutions. We have a call to action that we want to make. But please go ahead and finish your thought.